Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today I want to talk about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I have now finished the main game of this. I have not finished the game though, because there is other content to do, but I want to give you my thoughts now that I've completed the main story, and basically why I think this actually has a good chance of being a nominee for Game of the Year. Now, this is the first biggest jump that Kirby had in, going from basically his 2.5D games and his 2D games to finally like a 3D game. This is very much in the same vein as like a Super Mario 3D world. This isn't a full open sort of sandbox like Odyssey. It's much more like 3D world where you have your start point of a level, your end point of a level, but they're quite open. It's quite spacious. And if you remember, I did a discussion on the demo. I really liked the demo. I was really looking forward to playing more. And I can say that this game did not disappoint. I know we're only in April at the time of recording this. But so far, this is just like, this game is like 10 out of 10 material for me. This is so fun. I enjoy so much about it. So let's just start off with the gameplay. The core gameplay is what you would imagine for Kirby, but in 3D. So you have your ability to float, suck things in, you have your copy abilities, and what they've done here is have very, very interesting level design. So, maybe the first level might be fairly straightforward, but you've got a bit of leeway of how you navigate that level. But it kind of gives you a chance to get to grips with how the controls work and how some of his abilities work in 3D, because obviously most of the time, with Sword or any of the other ones, Cutter, you shoot to the left and the right, and that was pretty much it. But now, you have to kind of aim it slightly. Now, I do think Kirby has like a slight lock-on in this, where with some of the abilities, it will kind of aim in the general direction of an item or an enemy, but you can obviously aim it with the analog stick yourself. The abilities themselves, there's about 12 different ones, but because you can upgrade them in this game, if they feel like you get meaningful upgrades, you feel like you get more powerful as the game goes on, and they're all a lot of fun. My personal favourite is probably Sword, but Cutter and Bomb, Drill, we've got Ice, like Fire, like they all have different abilities. Some of them allow you to block, some have like extra movement options, and when you upgrade each one they become more powerful. They might get increased range. Sword has a much bigger sword at one stage. And you can upgrade each thing multiple times, like way more than I was expecting. So that was really cool. On the other side of that, you've also got the mouthful abilities, which are like the car, the light bulb, the arch, the circle, the things you've seen in the trailers. They're all ridiculous, and I love it. They're all absolutely bonkers, but they get used in some really fun ways. I think my personal favourite is probably the car, but I really like the light bulb and the like the ring that you get that fires that air. Like, I think they're done really well, and there's enough of them to keep the gameplay interesting. There is some really cool puzzles that require them, and honestly, between the copy abilities that you have and those being upgradable and the mouthful mode stuff, they do a really good job of making the gameplay feel like genuinely like fresh and fun ideas as you go through each stage. Now, each world has about 5 levels, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the levels are quite long, and each one has like some unique kind of gimmick or play style. Like, there's one level that revolves around the car and racing the car, which is probably my favorite. But like, there's stuff that uses the arch, there's the light bulb levels, which are just hilarious. Like, honestly, there wasn't a single level in this game that I didn't like. I think maybe the level before like the sort of final boss, it's a bit long, but overall it wasn't a bad level. It was just really long, but it did make use of multiple abilities. So the core gameplay of like what you'd expect from Kirby is so good. It feels fun. Kirby feels really fun to move in this world. He feels like very responsive. The abilities work how you imagine. At no point did I ever think the game was being aggressive or like putting me in situations that I couldn't handle. Like, Kirby games are generally known for being quite easy, and they are. But I will say the last world really does ramp up a lot of the difficulty, especially the last couple of levels, the last couple of boss fights, and that's something else. The boss fights in this game are nuts. These are some of the, like, they're not what you're expecting from boss fights from Kirby. And I'm saying you're not, like, yes, you've got a variant of the tree boss, but other than that, most of these bosses are fun. They've varied. They get progressively harder. Like, there's one where you're fighting a cat, and that one has some hard attacks to avoid. I was like, oh, this isn't a cakewalk, like, through the boss fights anyway. I was like, oh, okay, right, I need to be aware of what I'm doing. And generally, I've just really enjoyed the boss fights. I thought they were fantastic. The final boss fight seems like ridiculously epic in this game, more epic than it needs to be. But the moment-to-moment gameplay in Kirby is great. Married with really fun, colourful visuals. The art style does go a long way in this game because it's not trying to be super graphically impressive, but the art style itself makes it pop quite nicely. You have a nice variance of locations that you visit and places you go. There's one site inside a mall. There's like a racetrack level. You've got like the carnival world, which is incredibly nice to look at. And so just that alone, like the abilities, mouthful mode, the bosses is wonderful. But it's married on with creative puzzles. It's married on with incredibly fun soundtrack. Like, the soundtracks are awesome. Like, they did a really good number with making the first world sound really bubbly, and the boss fight music's really fun. And then there's like I think it's the carnival world you get to has this kind of like 60s rock vibe to it. Like, really just awesome. There's some classic tunes in there. The invincibility theme's awesome in this. It's like really like someone shredding on the guitar. Like, this is one of those games where they just kind of nailed all the feelings on like that, and I'm really happy that this game just feels so satisfying to play, so satisfying to look at and listen, and you just want to run around in this world and have fun. Like this game is absolutely fun. That is the best way that I can describe it to you. Charming and fun. And you know, you're not even thinking about the game being particularly easy. You're not thinking about it being hard or anything. You're just enjoying the moment-to-moment gameplay. On top of the levels, you have missions. We have to collect Waddle Dees. You always have like the main mission of just get to the end of the level. But you can go back and do other missions. It'll be like destroy a poster, or it'll be like find the hidden ones, or there'll be like some kind of crazy objective like find all the donuts. Something like that. Like, they're always really silly objectives, but they lead to getting more Waddle Dees. And the more Waddle Dees you get, the more that Waddle Dee Town grows, and that itself was really fun. There's a lot to do there. A lot more buildings spawn up over time. You know, like the Colosseum that lets you get extra money and like extra gems, which is for the crafting, essentially, which is the basic, you know, upgrading your abilities. You have like a place where you can buy items and carry items on you. You've got like little puzzle games. You've got a fishing mini game. You've got Kirby's house. You can have parcels delivered there when you find hidden codes. You have the place where you can obviously upgrade the weapons. You've got little like capsules you can uncollect. You've got these collectibles in it. There's so much in this game that didn't need to be there, but is, and I think that's the one thing I love about this game, is that this feels like excuse me, this feels like a game that was complete and put out the door, and it's just like, you know what, this is what we're missing. I like a game where I can buy it, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth, and this game absolutely feels like I'm getting my money's worth. Because once you complete the main game, there's still loads to do, and that's not even talking about on the map. Once you complete a level, you unlock little treasure roads, they're called, and they're like mini, like 1 to 2 minute challenges of like using a very specific skill to unlock more rare stones so you can upgrade your items. And like, they're great on their own. Like, some of those are absolutely hilarious. Some of them are really fun. They use all the abilities interestingly. There are so many of them, more than I even was expecting. Like, there's probably like 6 or 7 on a world. Like, there's quite a few. Yeah, just tons of gameplay, tons of content, and I think this is why I'm feeling so positive about this game. Like, obviously the reviews that they were giving it 9s and 10s, you know, sorry, 8s and 9s, and like, to me the game personally, like, I don't even do scores, but if you wanted to score, slap a 10 out of 10 on it. Like, I'm literally having so much fun playing this game, and just that has that Nintendo charm. Like, platformers are their jam, platformers are my jam, and I like the fact that there's, like, the D-pad in this game does nothing except emote Kirby. So if you face the screen and push in different directions on the D-pad, he'll sit down, he'll wave at you, he'll look around. It's just like, just little things like that, and you're just like, it just adds to how, like, the charm of the game and just how enjoyable it is to run around in this world. And my absolute favourite thing is later on, and I'll hopefully show this off at the end of the video, is that there's these Waddle Dees that have a little band, and it's essentially an area that you can go and listen to the music, and it's just so cute watching these Waddle Dees play these instruments. I mean, they're just doing canned animations, but it's that just big old smile across my face when I saw that. I thought, oh yeah, completely unnecessary, but I love it. And so, you know, like, Nintendo have started this year off very strong, right? In terms of, like, games they put out Arceus, probably not a game I'm going to play. And then they've hit this, and this really just feels to me like this is the kind of platforming style I'm happy for Kirby to stay with for a while. So obviously Mario, I think you have the point-to-point kind of style of platformers, which is what Kirby's kind of always been, and then you've got like the Odyssey style, which is much more like a kind of sandbox. If Kirby's going to be adopting this kind of point-to-point style with this incredible innovation and cool ideas and mechanics and stuff, like, I'm totally fine with this. This game genuinely is one of the best platformers I have played in a very long time. Probably like up there with like Odyssey for me. Like, I really like this game, and just the quality, the fun, the enjoyment, way more to do, like everything combined, it just makes this game fantastic. And you owe it to yourself to go out and buy this. If you love platformers, you will like this. Don't even worry that it's a bit of an easier game, right? Being easy or hard, I think, is completely irrelevant when playing a Kirby game, because it sucks you in with really good gameplay. You know, this is, I will say, like, if you're new to it, like platformers, this is a great place to start. But the last level and the last boss really do ramp up. But there are ways to like kind of mitigate that. But honestly, if you just love fun, creative, imaginative games, like, I really think this game absolutely like knocks it out of the park. And yeah, I do truly stand here and say here that I do think this has a chance of being Game of the Year. I think it is that good. You know, we're only in, like I said, only in April, but there's so much to go. But this game is going to stick with me for like a very long time. And like I said, I'm not even finished playing it. But it's just got that. Sometimes games come along and they just have a quality to them that you don't always get with every video game, and this game has it. The only downside to this game is the fact that the frame rate is 30 frames a second. Luckily, it feels nice to control, but that's not really an excuse. So, if you do go into playing this, it will play fine, but you will notice the frame rate being 30. You will notice enemies moving at half frame rate in the distance. That's like the biggest criticism I can give of the game. If it wasn't for that, like, this game would probably be perfect for what it is. But overall, I've just had an absolute blast playing it. I really think if you're umming and ahhing about it, just go and buy it. Like, it cost me like 40 quid, something like that. Absolutely worth every penny of it. I've probably played it for, you know, I've probably done it. The main story will probably take you sort of between 5 to 10 hours, depending on how like quickly you go through it and how good you are at these sort of things. But then there's a ton more content, there's a ton of replayability, and yeah, you're gonna have a blast playing it. It's so fun. Yeah, this has started off my, like, for me, this year was always gonna be good with like Advance Wars and Mario Strikers. Wasn't expecting to be like so hyped for Kirby, but my god, am I glad that I played this. And I can't wait to just like get this video done and go back and play more of it and continue to keep, you know, this might be a game that I actually 100%. I'm not one of these people that does it, but I really like playing this game that much that I might just go and 100% it. So there you go. Like, there's my kind of scatterbrained shot thoughts on this game. Like, I think this game is incredible. You should go and play it. So thank you very much for watching this video. As always, if you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.